Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to News with AJ Elicits. Yeah, I just named the chat that because I was like, I didn't know what else to call it. I was just going to cover a bunch of news that I was reading today. Mostly, pretty much, it's probably going to mostly be about Canada. So if you're from somewhere else and you're not really interested in that, just so you know, I might cover some stuff from America, right? There was a couple funny things that did happen, like Bryan Cranston and stuff, and people being mad that he's playing a paraplegic and whatnot. But generally, I'm just going to stick to mostly Canadian stuff right now. Hey, Faye. Hey, RIP. How's it going? Good day. Good day to you guys, too. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff, just in the news that's been happening, a lot of smearing by the media, trying to, make the PPC party look bad. Some more deaths and murders from, that certain group of people just unprovoked and randomly, and then more shit from China. Obviously, they're apparently calling Canada are us detaining their person an act of white supremacy or something. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? But, I'll wait a little bit, interact with the chat a wee bit. So anything new with you guys? Anything in the news you've seen that you want to bring up or whatnot, talk about of interest, that I may maybe I'm not covering right here. Hey, Blue Apple, how's it going? How's your channel so far? Pretty good? Did you are you showing your viewers, or I mean subscribers now? Because I think if you do that, more people might subscribe, because I don't know, I think when people don't see it, they just think maybe it's something else, or maybe they're less willing to sub. I don't know. That's just my own logic to it. But France is trying to ban public protest. Well, of course, right? I think I've seen something about that, maybe on Reddit, about France and whatnot. But same with the yellow vest protest in Canada here. Let's see here. They're like, Facebook reviewing comments about killing Trudeau on Canadian yellow vest page. So apparently, discussions about killing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have been appearing on a Facebook page for Canadians who align themselves with so-called Yellow Vest protest in France. So the Yellow Vest Canada group has gathered more than 100,000 members on the Facebook since it launched a month ago as French anti-government demonstrations got underway. But while the group's own rules encourage civility and prohibit the advocacy of violence, the page is rife with comments that wish for and sometimes encourage the death of the prime minister. So, it's funny that they're focusing on this group and not like, the Aboriginal protest groups. I'm sure there's some stuff on their Facebook groups and leftist Facebook groups, etc., that say some pretty ghastly things, and we're not seeing global news and the media writing stories about it. But, obviously they're going to do this. They're going to find a few comments, and it's pretty easy to implant some trolls and pretend that they are right-wing, making racist comments, because then you could just be like, oh, they're not going to dig into the name, to the person, if they're legitimate or not. They're just going to use these as a way to smear the group, right? Some people should watch what they say in that group. And anyone protesting here in Alberta is being branded a right-wing racist. RCMP are taking pictures of protesters. Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, they're going to be treated like criminals. It makes no sense. But obviously, yeah, it's like the few people that do say something. And, I always encourage people not to say stuff like that, like, oh, we need to shoot Trudeau, because, there are some people that do say that kind of stuff, but really it's not helpful, and it's just going to be used against us in the end to smear us. Like, people on the right are held to a much higher standard than people on the left. You know, like as we saw, you know, in America with that story, like the Young Turks and all these people, they're talking about that girl that was shot by that white guy, and they're like, oh, they race baited, they deleted like 3 of their videos, got rid of them, you know, because, you know, they just were ecstatic about that story, and, you know, it turns out to be fake news. But, you know, there are other cases, right, where maybe a white person or something shoots themselves, and it's like, oh, a black person shot me, and blames on like a group of black guys. But the difference between that and the cases like the Jasmine girl, is the media and them giving it a massive signal boost. So the same with the yellow vest thing. Sure, there's going to be some bad apples here and there that say some stuff like Blue Apple. No, I'm kidding. But they, you know, they're going to signal boost them to make everybody else look worse. And because everybody is kind of dumb, they automatically do guilt by association. Whereas just because, you know, there's some crazy people in leftist groups saying some crazy shit doesn't mean that I'm going to condemn that whole fucking thing and be like, oh, we need to take it down because there was a few comments here that were unsavory. But, you know, there was another hit piece done, but on Maxime Bernier as well. But the Yellow Vest Canada group, but there's 100,000 members. I wonder how many of those 100,000 like were actually comments like this, and how many of these comments were just like liberal plants and stuff. Like we've already found out in America there was like that huge there was that group that pretended to be Russian trolls, and it was even this group that pretended to do that were reported on by the media wildly when they, you know, did some shit. You know, like how many of these groups are doing this? And, you know, I don't trust a lot of the comments that are like really out there sometimes that I do get, because yeah, sometimes I think it's like a controlled opposition. And then, yeah, occasionally there is some crazy lunatics, right? Like, you know, you can't necessarily deny that. But Trudeau needs to be shot, read one comment, while another said that whoever did so would become Canada's greatest hero. He needs to eat lead, read another comment. Just shoot him, read another one. Some said he should be hanged, or posted images of a noose, guillotine, electric chair, and gunmen. Others referred to the assassination of former U.S. President John F. Kennedy. You know, I wonder how many stories they're doing about all the horrible things that people are saying about like Trump. And like, not that necessarily our Canada should be doing that, but media should be doing that. But like, you know, there's so many threats directed towards him. It's ridiculous. Once you ever do Google Hangouts, well, I should, you know, I just do these randomly, right? But, you know, I'll contact somebody, you know, and do a Hangout, I guess, right? I'm not really sure how to use all that other shit, though. I got to kind of figure it out, right? But I think I can invite people here as well. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Just shoot him. Another one. The RCMP is aware of the comments made on Facebook. You know, global news. We take all threats made against Prime Minister very seriously. So yeah, you know, be careful and, like, you know, call out that type of behavior when you see it, like, you know, threats of violence, because you know, it's just going to make us look bad. It's going to make our Facebook pages and places where we come together get taken down. And, you know, it could also, like I said, be plants, but, you know, you still got to try to clamp down as much as possible. How much of that they are saying is mainstream media bullshit? Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. But that's true. It could be mainly fabricated. How many of these are actually, you know, true? But judging from some of the comments I've seen on my videos, you know, I get a lot of comments, and I do see stuff like that occasionally, right? I do see, you know, like from certain people that, you know, I've watched my channel or whatnot, say like, we need to, get a bullet in Trudeau's head or something similar along those lines. So, I have seen that type of rhetoric. I don't think it's all plants, even if any of them are, or if all of them are, maybe all of them are, I don't know. But, I can understand why people say that type of shit, because realistically, Trudeau is fucking us, right? That's, he is destroying Canada. He is a threat to our nation, just like the mainstream media is to a large extent. But you got to be careful about the type of language you use, and understand that there are crazy people in any group, and they're going to hear that type of language and maybe act upon it, right? So, you do got to be a little bit worried, because like I said, I have seen these types of comments and stuff in my own videos and stuff. So it's not, it's not necessarily, I don't know, you can look and you can find these, right? We'll crush you, mark my words, they're bought and sold. Yeah, that's true. Days ago, it was very interesting. Yeah, oh, I should try it out, Google Hangout. But, there's a few other things in this article. Facebook also, I think, deleted another Yellow Vest group, but that one's in the UK. So yeah, like a moderator for the group said, like, we do not tolerate this kind of talk, and it will be dealt with. So obviously they're on top of it. But, honestly, though, even though that I say we got to be on top of it, it's never honestly going to be good enough, because, they even report in here, oh, the people were on top of it. They say they don't tolerate, they try to get rid of it, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be guilt by association, just like what happens to Gab. They're like, oh, there's some people on here that say mean things about Jews or something. We need to destroy the company. We need to get rid of it and censor it and destroy its payment structure. But there are plenty of hateful things said on Twitter and all these other platforms that nobody says. We need to destroy and dismantle because of this and that. Yo, yeah, I've heard about that German leader that was almost beaten to death by a couple of Antifa members. You see a big, huge gash in his head, almost dead. And, if there was the reverse and it was some far right, you'd see it. It'd be international news, right? But it's more local. It's getting spread around more by the right wing, because it would be used by the left, and it's like, just like, I just keep looking at that Jasmine case with a little girl, how they just all completely expose themselves. So many people, it was so funny. And then they have to come out and be like, oh shit, my signature cup. Do you have a daytime job, or are you self-employed? Well, right now I'm not working as much because what do you call it? There's lots of snow and shit, and I work outside. So I do roofing, whether you believe it or not, and fucking it just snowed a shitload. So I don't know, we're gonna have to like do a bunch of snow removal, and then once that's done, then we could start working more and stuff. But right now, I didn't work today. I didn't work the other day. Antifa is like that in Europe. That's the Yellow Vest. Yeah, Antifa, they are insane in Europe, and they're gonna kill people. But yeah, that the media, it's almost like kind of doesn't really matter what we do. They are gonna find just a few people who do say something, and they're gonna blame all of us for it. So it's kind of shitty. So it doesn't really, honestly, it doesn't matter. But if you do see it, it's good to speak against it, right? And be like, hey, man, like this type of language is not, useful, right? It's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help anything. Talking about shooting people and stuff, right? And even if to some extent, maybe Trudeau is doing this all knowingly and willingly and all this stuff to our country, but still, it's like it's going to be used against us. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, John. But what else was this in here? Any luck, he'll do a Sonny Bono, and then some of them weren't that bad, you know. Hope somebody's like, hopefully he ends up like his brother. You know, that's kind of funny. You know, that one's not too bad. But when you're like talking about shooting him and like getting a sniper and shit, like that's a little bit too fucking much. And you know, you got to calm the fuck down. And you know, that type of rhetoric is not helpful. I've seen that type of stuff, you know, used against other people and stuff. It's like, you know, even towards some Muslims and stuff, you know, people were like, oh, we need to, you know, take away all of their rights, yada, yada, yada. Whereas, you know, we got to be really careful about going down that road, because that is how, you know, these authoritarian type people use us. You know, they will use our own type of fear against us to enact like authoritarian policies to take away other people's rights and shit. And then eventually those same policies we enact will be used against us, right? So it's you know, it's better to, I think, give people more rights instead of taking away rights, right? You know, just let people discriminate, let people stop immigration, stop stealing money from people, you know, give them more freedom, and things will correct themselves. Unless it's like too late, unless we're like 20% of the population who keep on this same road, then by that time, even if we were to revert back to the capitalist system, etc., which it wouldn't, because of just the population differences and how there wouldn't be enough white people to actually want capitalism, right? But what is that? But there, you know, there's that story. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like I said, we're just gonna keep getting tied with, oh, they're anti-immigrant, this and that. The Facebook group itself describes itself as a protest against the carbon tax politician who it claims are selling our country's sovereignty over to globalist UN and their tyrannical policies. You know, so that is completely true. Canada's Yellow Vests are a loose organization of individuals dissatisfied with the Trudeau government, said Davis, a consultant from former CSIS analyst. She said it was not a coherent movement in Canada, and its events had attracted few protesters. Anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim rhetoric were common themes, she said. The YV movement in Canada is dominated by extreme right and has the Yellow Vest movement has a potential to spin off violent subgroups. Overall, the movement is not a threat to national security, but elements within may take violent action on their extremist ideas. So now they're like, okay, yeah, this group is gonna be violent soon. It's gonna be violent because they're anti-immigration, anti-Muslim ideas. Where it's like, no, they're against the anti-illegal immigration. Most of these protesters that are going there, and yeah, they're against a bunch of oppressive carbon taxes. Sure, what is the problem with that? Yeah, I hope Trump annexes Canada, to be honest, at this point. An African-American eye? Maybe. Yes, I do. I do have an African-American eye. I'm going to block you, Cap. And then there's another article. Bernier's party taps, this is from CBC, anti-trans agenda activist as candidate in Burnaby South. So former talk show host Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson running for People's Party of Canada. And it's like, you know, these people, they don't understand libertarianism either. So, you know, I'll read the first couple of paragraphs. Like, one of the first candidates out of the gate for Maxime Bernier's new party calls the idea of gender fluidity the greatest and most insidious assault against our children that this nation has ever seen, and says she has dedicated her life to fighting it. You know, that's awesome. I love how that she says that straight up. They think this is going to be like a schmear, and people are like, oh, I can't believe she said this. But a lot of parents are probably like, yeah, true. You know, no, I don't have a black guy. But yeah, no, what was I saying here? But that's good. You know, the greatest and most insidious assault against our children that this nation has ever seen. You know, I think a lot of parents on the surface would say, no, that's that's terrible. How could she say that? But a lot of people behind their back are like, I agree. It is an assault. They keep bitching. I keep seeing that Andrea horror woman complaining about Doug Ford and him removing the sex ed curriculum and subjugating the students to the old version of it. It's like, who the fuck teach your own kids about butt sex if it really fucking matters that much to you? It's like, do you keep yourself up at night being like, there's these poor underprivileged kids without parents, orphans, not learning about gay sex, and they're not going to be functioning adults when they grow up. It's like, and there's a correlation between a lot of these feminist and crazy leftist parents and their kids turning out to be trans. And there's like I was reading this whole article about, it's like onset quick gender dysphoria or something. They're trying to come up with a term to explain why all these kids all of a sudden are becoming trans, and all their parents were feminist, were feminist women. They're all pro-gay and all this stuff. And they're still like, now their kids are actually like against them. They're all like for it. Their kids came out as lesbians. They're like, oh, this is great. They're promoting it. Then they all turned into like men, and they're trying to be trans men. And then their mothers were like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? What are we doing to these kids? But a lot of these kids are impressionable, and they're gonna cut off their tits and shit, because in some states, in some places in Canada, like, they don't even need the consent of the parent to take these medications, to go through all of this shit. Like the doctors and all that, they don't need to tell the parents. The schools, they don't need to tell the parents, anything like that. The kids are like under 18, and it's like it's so fucked up. These kids, one day they're gonna be 30 years old, and the woman, she's gonna have like no tits left. She's gonna be like all fucked up from taking all these drugs. And, there's going to be a lot more people on pharmaceutical drugs in the future. But I guess that's good for like pharmacare or something, right? So, like, oh, we're helping everybody by promoting this stuff. It's like, no, you're just fucking them up more. Like, yeah, let's not be hateful to people. Let's not hurl insults at people that look different and act differently and stuff. But it doesn't mean we need to fucking promote it. There was something else I was reading. It was like, I think it was CBC, and it was like, here's 10 books that librarians are promoting in Canada. And it was all the librarians were promoting stuff about, like, here's these two girls. One is the knight, the other one's the princess, and they get together and marry. Here's all these stories about gays and gay kids and accepting trans, and you're like, what the fuck? Why are all these librarians? Why do they all recommend these specific books that do with that? Are they all are we only hiring fucking trans librarians to take care of our fucking kids now? I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah, I agree. Too much feminism destroys a nation. Another Canadian aid worker busted for possession of child porno. Oh, that's fucked. Let's see. How will people... I'm not too sure, man, about Article 13. Honestly, man. You're not gonna get too much more from me. I know that interests you, that topic, but I'm not going to talk too much about Article 13 today, though. Maybe another video, maybe next time. We're waking up, though. I have hope. I think to some extent Canadians are waking up, but we're not really going to be able to tell until the elections type thing. But if you look at the polls, we are progressively more and more against the idea of immigration, even as a whole. So, I think the more that they push against this, the more the citizens are going to push back and be more and more against it. But yeah, Toronto, Toronto is fucking bad. You know, I would not. There's already lots of cities that are pretty much, you know, completely overtaken by immigration, and you know, it's kind of like, what are you going to do? What are we going to do with these places? And I'm kind of lucky. I'm from Winnipeg, so it's like nobody wants to come here. Nobody wants to live in this cold, barren wasteland called Winnipeg. So to some extent, it's kind of better. So, you know, maybe over time they will, but we'll see. And what else was here? But yeah, you know, they're trying to, you know, a devout Christian, ardent abortion foe, and former talk show host Lauren Lynn Tyler Thompson might seem like a surprising choice for a party associated with libertarian principles. And, you know, it's not a surprising choice at all, because she's just talking about getting rid of it in schools and the government like promoting it, right? So that is libertarian. Like it's not using the government to promote a certain ideology. So yeah, that is in accordance with the libertarian type ideology and principles. So, you know, and that's good. You know, there's a couple more people that he has, you know, on his belt, and it's all the better for him, right? Toad in the hole. Toronto is pretty posed. Can't stand it. Yeah, that's pretty bad, man. Got shut down on Facebook here in Canada. Yeah, did they get shut down? I was just finished talking about them, how the media is trying to smear them because of certain hate comments about trying to assassinate Trudeau or whatever. But, you know, other than that, yeah, I think Winnipeg is like majority. I think it's like 70%, maybe a little bit more. I'm not too sure. I got to look at the demographics again. Yeah, Winnipeg is actually really beautiful in the winter, in the summertime. If you come here in summer, it's like, you know, there's tons of trees everywhere blooming and stuff. And, you know, it's a nice city in the summertime. But yeah, in the winter, not so nice. Although this winter hasn't been that bad. But we're not going to have a massive inflow like Toronto and other places like BC and whatnot, right? It's going to be in other places, although we are getting more and more diverse, right? Yeah, we're getting more. For now, isn't there a Somalia family that now has close to 200, and one family itself has 200 people? Are you serious? France yellow vests are calling for a run on the banks. Call it the end of that movement. What do you mean run on the banks? Like they're saying they want to end it? Although if it's coming from the mainstream media, you know, they said this was going to die down a while ago, but it's still going. Toronto is 50% white, and the majority of white people are in core of all suburbs, and outer core are brown, black, and Chinese, right? Right, you know, so, you know, it's going to be really interesting if you see the future of Toronto and a few of these other cities, right? Yellow Vest Canada is still up on Facebook. Right, yeah, there's the media. They're trying to, you know, do guilt by association, right? Draw money from the banks to collapse it. Yeah. There was one case that was pretty crazy, how the federal government dropped the ball massively on a Chinese money laundering scheme in BC. The federal prosecutors accidentally gave the defense, like, this guy who was supposed to be protected, and because of that, then they scrapped the entire case. One of like the largest fucking, what do you call it, money laundering cases in history. In Canadian history. Where was this story here, though? Protesters. One sec. Comment videos. One moment here. Exclusive. What was it? Oh, yeah. So the Crown mistakenly exposed police informant killing massive BC money laundering probe. So, you know, and I think this was completely on purpose, to tell you the truth. I do not trust the federal government in Canada. And this is one of the largest, like I said, probes in Canadian history. And the federal prosecutors just, oops, oopsie, here you go. Oh, it scraps the whole case for China. Oh, China. You know, they can get away with practically anything they want in Canada, it seems. They can detain 13 people. We're not going to say fucking anything, but, you know, a massive RP&V investigation of alleged underground bankers in Richmond, BC. So they're trying to deal with the problem in BC with, you know, the money laundering and the housing market, estimated to be laundering over in casinos over $1 billion per year, collapsed in November because federal prosecutors mistakenly exposed the identity of a police informant who they feared could have been killed if the case, proceeded, Global News has learned. So, yeah, just idiots. Just our federal prosecutors are fucking retards. And now the entire case is dropped. And, you know, I have a feeling that it was done on purpose. I don't trust them whatsoever. And even in the same article, they're talking about the police. They're like, okay, now because of this, we want to increase the budget so we have more federal prosecutors to make sure they don't miss anything. And then we also want to increase asset forfeiture to take away people's property and all this stuff. It's like, no, now you're just using this to increase the police state on people. So it's like a double fucking whammy, right? You know, they let these Chinese fucking money launderers go because of a stupid fucking mistake. But I'll put the link in the description below here so you can check out the article yourself, because it's kind of long. Oh, shoot. 1 second here. Jackpot. Congratulations. I got a pop-up thing that keeps showing up. Yeah, China is ridiculous right now, and there's a massive problem in Canada right now with dual citizenship as well as America. You know, lots of people in America have dual citizenship to Israel. And also, just speaking of that, in Canada, an article just came out saying that like something like 50 people have dual citizenship in Canada to other countries. And it's like, what the fuck is it? In Australian House MPs with dual citizenship, Canada's, okay, so 56 foreign-born members, 22 with dual or triple citizenship hold seats in House of Commons and Senate. So, you know, it's so stupid how in Canada we allow this. You know, people that have dual citizenship are allowed to be in public office. You know, I was thinking about this. I'm like, you should not be able to be in public office unless you are like a second or third generation Canadian. Because it's not until like really then that I can really fucking start to trust you, to be honest. I'm sorry. I can't. And, you know, it's like, you know, you got to live here for a couple generations to actually think of yourself as a Canadian. But these people have citizenship to all over the world, all over the fucking world, these people, to all different places. So do you really think people just forsake their nations like that? No. They're, you know, look at the immigration minister, he's Somalian. And we have a massive increase of Somalians in Canada. Is it a coincidence? No, I don't think it is. You know, I really don't. You know, people are fucking tribalistic. So they express concern that Canadians' real estate, amongst other countries, is being purchased in major economic centers for the purpose of wielding control over local politicians. Yeah. You know, our fucking government, or Canada, is a security threat to essentially America and the rest of the world and shit, by like how just open our fucking economy is to like foreign governments and stuff, and like China, and how easily people can just manipulate us. It's crazy. But where's the article? Yeah, dual citizenship debacle rocks Australia political world. Canada parliamentary embraces sitting MPs and senators who are born around the world and hold dual. You know, there are now 42 MPs and 12 senators born in countries outside Canada. according to the information from Library of Parliament and websites. At least 22 of them had citizenship from other countries, CBC News confirmed through queries to parliamentary officials. The figures does not include MPs and senators who hold citizenship through descent, naturalization, or marriage. Canadian MPs hold citizenship from various countries, including Afghanistan, Lebanon, Portugal, Poland, Pakistan, Syria, the US, and the United Kingdom. So, you know, these are lots of fucking countries that obviously these people are most likely going to favor them. You know, can we really expect them to have an unbiased opinion about Afghanistan, Lebanon, Pakistan, Syria, all these countries if they have dual citizen? Like anybody with common sense would have gotten rid of this a long fucking time ago. But I guess we don't have common sense in Canada. U.S. is going to need northern border barrier soon. Yeah. Being investigated for money laundering. Liberals not saying nothing. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about that too. The Reg Grewal, that guy, just like this case with money laundering, they used casinos to launder a bunch of money. And this guy also spent a lot of money in casinos. You know, there's a lot of fishy fucking shit going on. And, you know, the fact that the federal prosecutors seem to destroy the fucking case by like a little oopsie, you know, I don't believe that. You know, I don't believe they're that fucking stupid. They did that on purpose. I would like to look into that fucking federal prosecutor and be like, look at his ties, where he comes from, you know, if he's gotten any money recently or something. Because, you know, I just have a feeling that, like, yeah, you know, I really don't trust this shit. But, you know, what do you expect from the government, though? And this could have just been them being inept, but then there you go. Inept, one of the biggest fucking things in Canadian history. You know, like they're laundering estimated $1 billion per year. So, you know, that's just a kick in the nuts. And then, yeah, we got our government full of dual citizens, which is another crazy bullshit thing. Let's see here. What was this? Oh, yeah. And, oh, yeah. So this doctor, Cardston doctor accused of racist confrontation, will apologize, but won't be disciplined. So, you know, these cases really fucking get me because, okay, all this doctor said was, okay, a Southern Alberta doctor accused of making racist comments towards a group of homeless Indigenous people last spring will formally apologize, but he will not be disciplined by the body that regulates physicians. We're like, oh no, he won't be disciplined. You know, so the doctor admits he made comments, but he's not racist. But Clockleary admitted he made the comments and now regrets them, but says he isn't racist. Ingrid Hess, a Southern Alberta lawyer, so this fucking woman, filed a complaint to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Alberta on behalf of three of the First Native members involved. So it seems to me like, you know, this girl went to, oh yeah, okay, wait, sorry, I completely skipped the one part. But Dr. Lloyd told the Indigenous people who were standing outside a Cardston convenience store in May to get a job and ask them if they wanted a prescription for Tylenol 3, an addictive painkiller. So, you know, so that right there, get a job, because there was a bunch of loitering Aboriginals in front of a fucking store that were, you know, I'm pretty sure homeless. And then what? I don't know. Like this one girl hears about it from one of them, and then she goes and it's like, oh, don't worry, I'll represent you. You know, are they even paying this girl, this Ingrid Hess, to represent these people? No, she's probably getting paid by the government to represent these people. It's just like a job for her. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to bring this to court. Maybe I can get this guy fired. You know, I'll be paid for my time, because I really doubt she's doing this pro bono. a Southern Alberta lawyer filed a complaint to the College of Physicians, trying to get this guy fired because he said, get a job. And then after he said, get a job, in the article, they say that, like, 3 of them run up to the car and are like, hey, yada, 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 bitching at him. So then, he says to them, do you want a Tylenol 3 or something? Right. And it's like, you're really going to destroy some guy's life because he yelled at a couple bums that were like annoying him or something, that were just loitering and being like bummy and fucking dirty and shit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And Ingrid Hess, a Southern Alberta lawyer, yada, 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 the regulatory dismissed the initial complaint, explaining Clark's comments were damaging but did not amount to professional misconduct. Hess appealed the decision to the college's complaint review committee, arguing Dr. Clark's blatant biases and negative views of Indigenous people might influence his care of the Indigenous patients he treats. So, it's like, oh, she cares so much about the treatment of Indigenous. She just wants them to get good care in the hospital and all this stuff. So this guy needs to lose his fucking job. But, it turns out this guy is Aboriginal too, but he's from like Australia or something. Like he's one of these, But in its decision, the 3-member panel wrote that Clark's remarks might be perceived as racist. The committee did not feel that the remarks made were indicative of a racist attitude, given that Clark is himself Indigenous as a Maori from New Zealand, that he was treated many Indigenous patients, and that he has taken steps to make amends for his behavior. So, they still want this guy fired. But if he was white, I have a feeling he probably would have been fired. The fact that, hey, Linda, how's it going? The fact that he got away with it, not that I'm saying I want him to be fired, was probably because he was brown or whatever. So like, okay, well, it's kind of harder. But if he was white, he's like, go get a job, you bums. They'd be like, well, clearly he was motivated by his hatred of Aboriginal people, yada, yada, yada. But, luckily, he's not going to be, he just has to make an apology, which is also fucking stupid. And he had to go to like a healing circle, or like, there was no question the remarks were intemperate and inappropriate in the circumstances, but the committee did not find these were sufficient evidence of unprofessional conduct to warrant a discipline hearing in this case. So, it's not racist, yada, yada, yada. So, it's good that he's getting off, but it's just funny to see these crazy leftists and how insane they are, that even after you're found like innocent of something, they're still usually going to come after you. They're still, they don't fucking care, right? And are like, there was some other guy, I think it was a teacher that was found recently. I can't remember, it was in Canada as well. He was found innocent of sexual assault, and he was coming back to teach, and everybody's like, no, we can't let him teach. We got to stop and make sure that the union gets rid of him, etc., etc. So it's like, even if you're found innocent of something, it doesn't matter. It's the court of public fucking opinion that's gonna pin you to the goddamn wall and try to destroy your life. But let's see here. There's that dumb bitch. But a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these things are just for lawyers to make money. Essentially, bring people up for bullshit causes to court, be like, oh, they're racist, yada, yada, yada. This is horrible. And this is another thing too that is annoying. And it's like, I don't know why we always have to learn about the Holocaust and not all of these other massive genocides that happened all over the fucking world, and that happened to other people during World War II. Like Polish people and like all these like Lithuanians and all these other people died. But no, that's let's not talk about that. But there's this lady in Manitoba here, or not, and she was appalled when she spoke to some kids in Winnipeg. They didn't know anything about the Holocaust, but not something that was in the past. Survivor wants kids to be taught more about horrors of the Holocaust. So Woman hid, this is CBC News, by the way. Woman who hid from Nazis in France worries younger Canadians are unaware of Holocaust history. It's like, it's like, if we don't learn about the Holocaust, we're just going to go and kill massive amounts of people again. Nobody's like, evolved or at all whatsoever. It's like the moment we forget about the Holocaust, just soon after, we're going to have a massive fucking Holocaust. And it's not even, nobody's going to forget the Holocaust either. There's a new Holocaust movie every goddamn year. Literally, there's a new slave movie every year. There's a new Holocaust movie. There's going to be, new Aboriginal. There's all these victim oppressive movies out every year to remind everybody how bad white people are and how bad they can get when they get too many rights and too many freedom or whatever. And if they become too nationalistic, essentially, that's what a lot of this stuff is to me. It seems like it's just, it's learn about the Holocaust, oh, look how bad you are. You're bad. You're bad. You're bad. Oh, nationalism, bad. Oh, taking care of your own people, bad, bad, bad. But hey, Voltron, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate the donation. But I'll read a little bit more of this fucking article here. What is this? Because it's just annoying. It's just really fucking stupid. The memories of the Holocaust are as fresh as ever for Regina Frankel. And then, because, in this article, you'll see, it explains it, right? But she remembers, she says, never knowing even the next day, will we be alive? Okay. Frankel and her family hid with a family in France for years during the Second World War, knowing at any moment that they could be found and killed. She has been sharing her story with school children for decades, but said she was shocked when she recently spoke to a group of students in Winnipeg. And it's like, why the fuck do we need to learn about it so much when we're the goddamn ones? Like, my grandpa fought in World War goddamn II. He was taken captive in a POW camp for 3 fucking years, lost a ton of fucking weight, like his plane was shot down. And he was like the gunner in a plane. It's a miracle that he survived, honestly, because the fucking pilot decided to crash land because he knew my grandpa was stuck in the gunner at the bottom. And the only way that my grandpa would survive, because everybody else evacuated, was the guy crash landed. And then once they did, as they got out, there was some German guy with a gun that pointed to my grandpa's head. And he's like, the war is over for you, or something like that, right? Like, after they crash landed, whatnot. But like, it's crazy fucking shit. But it's like, why the fuck are we in fear of like butchering a bunch of people or something? Like, we fucking bailed you people out. What the fuck? But but they mention how we turned away the Jews and how Canada, more than any other country, hated them, and we need to be taught about our history of hatred of Jewish people. It's like, no, we don't. Okay, no. Let's just say for everybody, it's bad to be hateful towards anybody. Frankel and her family hid with a family in France. She has been sharing her story with school children for decades, but said she was shocked when she recently spoke to a group of students in Winnipeg. There was one class, but how come nobody knows about how many of these kids? I'm sure that a lot of them have heard about the Holocaust, but how many of them heard about like all the kids, all like the Polish people that were butchered, or like the Holodomor or something like in Russia, where all these other people are all the millions of people starved to death by fucking communists in Russia and stuff. Like, what they made them do in some of these places? They sent a lot of these people in Russia to Siberia, where it's like minus 50, 55 degrees, and they made them work outside. They would fucking die, like just from frostbite, like, hundreds of thousands and thousands of people. But we only got to learn. For some reason, we got to learn about Germans wanting to eradicate Jews for some fucking reason, instead of Russians wanting to eradicate Russians, and Chinese or Japanese wanting to eradicate the Chinese in World War II, or vice versa. and you know, all this other things. This is really important, this one specifically. But she has been sharing her story. There was one class who knew nothing. That was very disturbing, because the Holocaust is not something that was in the past. It's something that you have to learn so that it doesn't repeat itself. So it's like, you know, it's like, how old are these kids, right? It's like, oh, they haven't seen a Holocaust movie, and the parents aren't teaching them about the Holocaust in home. Like, really? Frankel says over the years she knows people know less about what happened to people like her, including the knowledge that 6 million European Jews were killed in Nazi-run concentration camps. Bella Jarnivsky said she's also noticed that Canadians have less knowledge than they used to. Okay. Yeah, we have a lot less knowledge about a lot of things, though, to be honest. Like, to point out a fucking map and tell people to point shit out. Like, what are you talking about? Like, kids have less knowledge on literally fucking everything these days, especially if they're in a government-run education. Hey, Justin, how's it going? But, you know, oh, they don't know much about this anymore, yada, yada, yada. You know, the executive director of the Jewish Heritage Center of Western Canada was leading the discussion with the students. In Manitoba, students are required to learn about the Holocaust in grade 6. So it's like, we're going to learn, their kids are going to learn about it. They're like, oh, they're not learning early enough. Not early enough. We're not putting this shit in their heads, how bad they are. You know, this to me is just more stuff like the whole Aboriginal reconciliation bullshit, where they're like, it's just another white people feel bad about what you did in your history to other fucking people. That's all it is. You know, feel bad, residential schools, you're bad, give us money. Bullshit. You turned away Jews. Yada yada. Who cares? In Manitoba, yada yada. But Jarnivsky said one of the tougher concepts aren't appropriate for that age group, meaning many students don't receive a deeper education of genocide as they get older. She wants Manitoba to include more about the Holocaust in the curriculum, including Canada's role in anti-Semitism, something that is less known. So, oh yeah, I'm going to remind you guys that you're all anti-Semites. Canada has the worst record of any country in accepting Jews who are fleeing Nazi persecution, she said. That's something we really got to know, guys. Like, don't you really want to know that your ancestors were fucking bigots? Like, that's important, guys. Just you know, that's really important. And I don't know why they turned them away. I haven't looked into it, but you know, who knows the reason? I'm not just going to jump to assumptions and be like, oh, because they're racist and Jew haters. You know, there's always two sides to a fucking story, right? And you know, I don't know the other side, so you know, all I'm ever hearing is the bad side from a certain specific set of people, typically. But it goes on. No one knows the story about the St. Louis, a boat that was not allowed into Canada that carried over 900 refugee Jews, she said. Jarnivsky also points to boycott against Jewish-run business in Quebec, graphic and racist newspaper cartoons depicting Jewish people, and rules that restricted their property ownership. History affects today. So, you know, just more pointing the history of how badly we treated other groups, just, you know, it's more bullshit. Unless we know our own history, I think it makes us less understanding and aware of refugee situation today. Oh, okay. So if we understand, if we propagate the kids young enough, then they'll be open to open borders in Canada. Is this what you're saying? You know, I think it makes us less understanding and aware of the refugee situation today. No, I'm plenty aware of the refugee situation today in Canada, and it's not fucking good. You know, not fucking good whatsoever. Like, yada yada yada. I know Voltron doesn't like that, but you know, thank you for the donation anyways. It teaches students what happens with an abuse of power, particularly today when we see the rise of populism, of nationalism, of white supremacy. This is the prime example of the importance of countering that. So, you know, populism, nationalism, and white supremacy, apparently these are all linked together, you know, whereas nationalism and populism are not linked with white supremacy, you know. but they're going to make these links, whatever they want, do whatever, you know. This is the prime. You can link white supremacy, nationalism, and these things together if you want, but you can also link populism, nationalism with other things as well. But this is the prime example of the importance of countering that. The Holocaust marks an important moment in human rights, according to Jeremy Maron, curator of Holocaust and genocide content at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Maron said it also serves as a case study to understand how human rights abuses and genocide can occur. The Holocaust really shows that when human rights and human dignity are not recognized and not respected, the slope can become very slippery, he said. So what is this fucking implication anyways? You know, it's like, what people's rights are not being respected? They're kind of insinuating that's what's going on in America. Oh, the rights of illegal aliens and them being allowed to cross the border illegally is not being respected. You know, respect their dignity. You know, just like the language is so fucking weaselly. How human rights abuses and genocide can occur. The Holocaust really shows that when human rights and human dignity, and you always see the dignity, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, are not recognized, not respected, the slope can become very slippery. So he's talking about illegal aliens. Once again, border crossers, open borders. Regine Frankel says she'll keep this is all subtle propaganda to be. You can't be against these fucking illegal aliens crossing your border. You must respect their dignity and human rights. Human rights, dignity, whatever the fuck that means. Human rights. No. This is, you know, there's rights. There's Canadian rights. Whatever rights you have in your country are your rights. But you don't have fucking every right a Canadian is going to have if you fucking enter Canada. Like, what the fuck? But increasingly, people who enter here have more rights, have more privileges. You know, I was seeing something like this family getting, what, $3,000. The refugee family's been here for a couple of years every fucking month to raise a couple of their kids and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I know so many people who are in the same situation that are not refugees that are getting way less from the government. So it's really interesting to see that. But, you know, the Holocaust really shows that when human rights, the UN recognized two different human rights codes, the ones we know and the code for Sharia compliant nations, right? Yeah, exactly, right? You know, a lot of these words, they are used like, you know, Muslims would be like, oh, we respect, you know, human rights. It's like, well, what are the human rights for you? That could mean a lot of different things. You know, human rights for you could mean something entirely different for me. But and this is another interesting thing. So, returning bottles to beer store, beware of possible breath test by police. So this article, this guy, he was just returning beer bottles to the beer store, and a cop just pulled him over randomly and asked him for a breathalyzer test. And according to this lawyer, a cop can detain you or ask you for a breathalyzer test 2 hours after you get out of your vehicle, after these new laws Trudeau implemented. So potentially you could be in your home and a cop could walk up into your home or knock on your door and ask you for a breathalyzer test if they saw you, you know, drive home and walk into your house. They can like pretty much legally do that now. It's pretty crazy how many rights Trudeau gave the cops in Canada after he legalized weed. And I was reading another article, and the price of weed right now is price of pot is up since legalization, Stats found. And, you know, why is this? Is because there's no competition allowed to be had. Lots of people, like I said, are not allowed. People are still being busted, and they right away. Like whenever I go into a weed shop, man, their prices are ridiculous, and the type of weed they're selling is not very good. Some of it's okay, some of it's not too bad, but still, if you go and you get it on the street, you get it from regular people, it's still cheaper, it's still better. And like I said, there's so much restriction that you go into stores, they have like one different type, and you're like, this is crap. I don't want to, like, I just wasted my time coming here. And then because there's no competition, they can't charge us anything. And now the cops have fucking a lot more fucking power. Thank you, Rainy Steps, for the donation. Thank you very much, man. Every time, man. Thank you. Hope you're having a good day. Also, if you got a question, put it in the chat and put my name in the chat. And that goes for anybody else. So anybody wants to ask me a question, put AJ Elicits in the chat and then ask away, right? And we could maybe divert from that. But it's crazy, this story. And like, you know, just returning home with some bottles. So taking back bottles to the beer store, a Mississauga man discovered this past weekend that can lead to a breath test for alcohol by police. He said, "I saw you at the beer store, and to me, you were talking back what looked like, in my opinion, an excessive amount, or taking back what looked like, in my opinion, an excessive amount of bottles." So this is why the cop pulled him over, because he took back an excessive amount of bottles, said Art, a 70-year-old Streetsville resident. He asked Global News not to use his surname. So really, you are taking too many bottles back to the vendor there, and we need to pull you over and do a breathalyzer. You know, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? They will soon busting your local dealer to afford a house here. Then you lose all your money trying to prove it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So a lot of people I know that's sell and stuff, they're like, oh, for a little while people went back, but now they came right back. But, you know, and around, so, you know, you just had too many beer. And around noon on Saturday, Art went to his local Ontario beer store and returned about 3 dozen beer bottles, 10 wine bottles, which his family have accumulated over the holiday season. Minutes later, Art said he was pulled over in a traffic stop by a police officer who asked if he'd been drinking. He said he had not. And then the officer said that he wanted a breathalyzer. And he's like, what if I disagree? And he's like, you're going to lose your license. You're going to be charged. And the guy's like, I felt like I was violated in a way. They shouldn't have the right to pull a person over unless there's a good sign the person is doing something wrong, said Art, who was not using a cell phone, wasn't speeding or violating any traffic rules. So any reason they want now. He was not charged with anything during a stop, but yada, yada, yada. But yeah, like, the implications of this law within the article is pretty much, the guy saying that they can walk up to your house 2 hours after they they see you drinking or suspect you drinking and ask for a breathalyzer. So that's fucked up, and they're assuming that this is going to be challenged in court eventually and rescinded. But this is something that you see a lot with Trudeau, is he's doing a lot of things that just seem to completely shit on all of our rights. He's for StatsCan stealing our information. He creates a fucking a weed bill that gives the RCMP and the police the right to do pretty much whatever they want to random citizens, just like shaking them up, shaking them down. It's insane what he's doing. Like, he doesn't give two shits about your rights whatsoever. He's doing nothing about the illegal immigrants crossing the border, so he doesn't give a shit. But what's here? And then also, like, what China said, white supremacy is a factor in detainee cases, Chinese ambassador charges. So ambassador says Western nations are showing their Western egotism and white supremacy in approach to China. And, you know, the Chinese, I don't know, their lame attempt to try to, like, I don't know, label Western nations as being white supremacists by attacking them and stuff. Like, oh, they want to retain their power, their area on top, and they're going to screw over the Chinese. So I don't really know who they're appealing to, but I don't think anybody's going to buy it coming from the fucking Chinese. And, you know, like I said earlier, there was that huge Chinese money laundering scheme going on in BC, and somehow the federal prosecutors fucked up and gave away some protected person's name, and then they had to drop the case because they were worried about this guy getting killed or something. So, you know, China is really fucking with us. We're apparently going to sell them that Huawei company that got charged by Trump and is trying to be, you know, brought into America. We were going to sell that company our 5G in Canada. They were going to do all of our 5G. So it's like Trudeau and the Chinese government are in bed or something. Like it seems to me that they always give them a free pass. You know, there's 13 fucking Canadians since December 2nd that have been detained in China, and we're letting them literally say and do whatever we want, and we're doing nothing. But we're going to have a bunch of Canadians come out and ask for this Saudi Arabian girl or something to be released for this or for that. But when it comes to China, we're not going to say anything. But, oh, Saudi Arabia, they already hate us. We don't have much trade with them. Whatever. We can say this because Trump supports Saudi Arabia. We you know, this is a safe people to attack. But, you know, fuck Saudi Arabia as well. But nonetheless, you just see they pick and choose the things they're willing to call out. I'm convinced that China is like controlling Trudeau and controlling like a lot of our fucking policies and our government, definitely. And like, just, you know, our government's too wide open. And, you know, if it's not China, it's, I don't know, some rich fucking Muslim group like that one guy who where Trudeau got an ethics violation for, where he had that meeting, or that guy invited him to his island or something, you know, or whatnot, you know. But that's inherent to the government. You know, even the conservatives are going to get bought off by people too, which they already are, by the dairy cartel and just other groups in general. Israeli groups and their governments and shit also influence our politics, and just you know, and the fact that now we have, what was it, 50 people that are dual nationals in Canada in our either MPs or senators. Like, of course, we're going to be throwing money away to third world countries when our government is filled with people with dual citizenship from third world countries, right? So what do you expect? Yeah, Aga Khan. Yeah, that was his name. You know, he went to Aga Khan's place. You know, he's had 4 ethics violations. Has there ever been any other prime minister that's had that many fucking violations at once? You know, it's pretty baffling. But, you know, China, just a retarded nation. And I think that we need to put the pressure on China. And it sucks that we have Trudeau in office right now, because he is just their bitch. And, you know, if we stood with them, with America against them, then they would collapse. You know, if Europe stood with Trump against China and we did, you know, we would get that fucking monkey off of our back. Our economies would be doing better. Our people would be doing better. But the globalists are trying to sell us out. You know, they want to work with China. For the record, I did a yada yada. Please sell merch with it. Yeah, I should, right? AJ is a hoser. Fuck you, you bastard. I'm not a hoser. Trudeau can do what he wants. Yeah, he can. Trudeau can do literally whatever the fuck he wants. He can get away with it. Doesn't matter. And but there's like, you know, the far leftists are kind of getting angrier with Trudeau, as you can tell. There's like a bunch of protesters across Canada show support for anti-pipeline in northern BC. You know, so there was like, I don't know, a protest or something that across Canada. What was this? I don't know. But apparently some protesters, some like, you know, an Aboriginal ones stopped one of Trudeau's meetings or something. So he's not going to make these people happy either, the far leftists. And then there's liberals told to rethink childcare policy to claim to be feminist government. So now a bunch of feminists want Trudeau to have a universal daycare system. So, you know, he's not going to make these far leftists happy either. And he's pretending to try to make people on the right happy by like, saying he's buying pipes. So this is going to be his downfall. And this is the problem with the left in general, is they're never going to be able to appease their own base. Like you see, because their base will always get further and further from, you know, the initial centrist liberals or corporate type liberal people. Like you see what's going on in America with that Oskia de la Hortez, whatever her name is, the Spanish girl, and all this other shit. Like that is the new direction of the left in the future. It's going to be young multi-ethnic socialists. That is the future of the Democratic Party. Right. And, you know, the way that Republicans and all that stuff are dealing with her right now is very fucking stupid as well. You know, they're attacking her videos about her like dancing around and like, I'm like, I saw a little bit of that video. I'm like, that just makes her look good. Honestly, it just makes her look good to the younger generation or whatever. And there's like, wow, she's young. And like, you know, I'm starting to think that there's a lot of Republican type people that are controlled opposition that are purposely attacking these people stupidly to get other people to also attack them stupidly to just boost up their popularity. Like, look at that Kim Campbell. Look at her thing. Now, every time I look at fucking Twitter, because I have like a bare bones version of Twitter, it recommends me like, I don't know, stuff that they recommend new users or something, right? And, you know, now I always see her there in the Canadian type section of commenters, right, that are, you know, kind of boosted. Usually it's people in the media or whatever, but I always see her now. She gained like 10,000 followers, all this shit because of, you know, signal boosting and people saying like, oh, you know, that's not very womanly of you to say this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like, don't attack them for this shit. That's just what they want. They want us to make us look like prudes and make them look like, wow, they're like rebellious type. They cool. They dance and they swear and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, let them do that. Don't come down and be like, oh, because, you know, Trump and other leaders are going to say stuff that is crude and a little bit crass occasionally. And that's fine. That's okay. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you very much for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that, man. If you got a question, just throw my name in the chat and I'll answer whatever you have. If you couldn't fit it all in there, if you got like a multiple questions or something, just throw it in the chat. But thanks again for the donation, man. Not sure about... I mean, hoser is a compliment, like saying you're a real Canadian, so you might be a spy. Oh, yeah, I might... Well, look at my beard. I'm clearly a spy for, you know, Osama bin Laden because, you know, Obama didn't actually kill Osama. We didn't see the body. He is actually living in my upstairs house right now. And, you know, we're planning something else in the near future. I'm not going to go into details, but it's going to be something. It's going to be big. And you're all gonna love it. Trust me. No, I can get in trouble just like insinuating that shit. You know, I'm afraid of saying virtually anything. Oh my God, Kim Campbell though, she's so like she's so cancer. Her Twitter is the most cancerous Twitter I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I got to this girl who she retweeted. She's this fat woman. You know that woman who does the financial advice in Canada here? You might have seen it in CBC. You know that fat woman who's like, adjust your finances, and she's like, whatever. Apparently she's like Canadian Jamaican or something, but she looks white to me. But she's like, just, you guys know who I'm talking about? So there's like Gail Oxdale or something. Gail something Oxdale. I can't remember her name, but holy fuck, man. Her Twitter was so horrible. And like, she was retweeting this other fat lesbian who was saying that like, oh, calories don't matter. Calories are non-essential, you know, just eat and be happy. And this is coming from like this girl who's fat as hell, and then retweeting another girl who's fat as hell, telling everybody that calories don't matter. And you're like, who is feeding you this false information? But I came across that through Kim Campbell's fucking feed, and I'm like, holy crap, the people that you fucking retweet. But you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, in Canada, that fat woman with long black hair, and she like, you know, quiz people and be like, wow, what are you spending on this? And you know, try to get their financials in order. You know, I think I have it on my phone, but I can't really find it. But something Oxdale. Let me see if I can find it, because maybe I'll put it right here. But you know, I think she lost her show recently. Let me see. CBC. Let me see. CBC. Vaz Oxdale. Yeah, Gail. Oh, that's what it is. Gail Oxdale. And she was like on her Twitter feed, this Gail Oxdale saying that calories don't matter. And I'm like, you're obese. I'm like, you're obese, and you're telling people that calories don't matter. And there's other feminists like, oh, like, don't listen to these fat women telling you these things, because clearly they're goddamn retarded. like if you're overweight and you restrict your calorie intake, you will start to lose fucking weight, and you won't be as fat. Like that's just basic common sense. You know, if you starve yourself, you will lose fat. Your body will start to eat itself. You will get skinnier. And it's like, people are like, you know what? I remember seeing this one thing a while ago where this one girl, she joined like a fat acceptance group. And, you know, they're all like, oh yeah, you know, they're all just saying like, we're fat and we love to eat and it's okay. You're beautiful the way you are. You're great. You're great. And they're all great. And everybody, they all felt really good about themselves. But the moment that girl started to take care of herself and started to like lose weight, then all the girls started being really angry and mean towards her. And it's like, you know, because that makes them mad when they see that. Just reminds them that they can do better and that they could lose weight and that they're just lazy and slobs and fat. And, you know, if they tried, they could do it. But whenever they see an example of somebody who's fit or whatever, and that's like their age or something, they're like, oh, this is horrible. Like there was this girl in the media, all these fat feminists were getting angry because there was a skinny mom, like in a bikini. She looks like great. And there was like 3 little kids, and there was like a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and like a 6-month-old or whatever, like not 6 months, but, you know, 3, 2, and 1, whatever. And she looked amazing. And this video, this image triggered them, because like, this isn't realistic. How can I gain? Well, well, she fucking did it. You know, I'm not saying like you gotta look like her, but a lot of these girls, the same women, it's like for 10 years they're using that excuse, like, oh, I got baby fat. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do this. But you know, it's like, what is this cancerous type information you're giving out to people? Gail Oxdale from fucking CBC or something. Like, well, you're killing people with this. calories don't matter. Eat as much as you want. Just make sure it's healthy in minerals and vitamins or something like that. You're like, you're a retard. Like you're honestly a fucking idiot. Like, yes, eat healthy foods, but even if you eat healthy foods, you eat too much of it, you're going to get overweight. It's not good for you to be overweight, but you know, their brains are fried, or people, they just want to believe what they want to believe so they can keep doing bad things. You know, you see these drug addicts, they only ever hang around drug addicts because they don't want to see somebody who is, you know, going and doing productive things, because it reminds them like, I'm doing nothing with my life. I'm just sitting here doing drugs, doing nothing. So what do? What do? They only ever hang around people that are like them and are the same predicaments. So they don't feel as bad. And that's why all these fat, positive body positivity things happen, is because they don't want to face the fact that they're lazy and that they don't work hard enough, and that other people have more will and drive than they do, right? That is the simple fact, right? You know, other than a few illnesses or something that doesn't account for the majority of the obesity that people, my thyroid is out of control. I don't know, then stop eating fucking shit then. I don't know, fix your goddamn diet, exercise a little bit, but the majority of you know, your body transformation is going to be diet specifically. But you know, once again, the nutrition, the guide is being changed by Canada, and now it's going to recommend a lot more of different types of foods. And you know, there's a lot of different industries getting mad about this. And it's funny because it's like the political guide, the food guide in Canada, which nobody even really follows anyways. It's just purely political. That's all it is. Everybody knows it. It's all political. All these companies are just like, well, this is going to affect our sales. If you do this, it's going to affect our sales. If you recommend this food, you know, recommend this instead. And you're like, okay, this is all just a fucking scam. They don't care. The government doesn't care what they're going to recommend whatever company pays them more money, right? That's all they care. They don't care about your actual health. But then you have like this Gail, whatever her name is, Oxdale, who worked for CBC, yeah, saying calories don't matter. And then she's a blue check mark, and she was retweeting somebody else who's a blue check mark who's saying the same thing. Calories don't matter. And she was other woman was a dyke who had like a woman partner with like a kid, and she's like, oh, you know, she's a man, I'm a woman. I don't know, but it was just crazy. Like all these people do too is focus on pretty much America. All these Canadians, that's all they do is focus on American politics on Twitter. And it's like, Trump is separating families at the border. Trump is doing this. He's not paying federal workers. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck American federal workers. I don't give a fuck about these goddamn federal workers. I care about Canadians and Canadian jobs and the fucking energy industry and the energy sector and immigration, what's going on in Canada. But all these fucking I don't know, social justice warrior fat whatever people are you know, that's all they're only worried about America. That's it. So it's like, you know, these people are bullshit. But you're gonna see that Campbell girl more and more now, because she spoke truth to power to Trump, calling him a motherfucker. Like, really? So lame. It's so lame. Like, nobody looks at that, I don't think, and other than like, you know, a deluded NPC person, and it thinks like, oh, that's, wow, she's cool. You know, like other kids are looking at, like, wow, she's cool. She said motherfucker. Who cares? Like for the screeching people have been doing over, you know, what Trump says occasionally. And like, you know, even Maxime Bernier talks about multicultural, everybody loses their fucking shit. You know, it's like, I don't care. You know, I don't care what she says or what he says or whatnot. You know, as long as it's not, I don't know, advocating for violence, because there's this whole decorum thing. I don't know why they do it. They're like, oh, we need, you know, civility and this and that. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's not attack people like the liberals in America tell you to do. Go to their house and attack them while they're eating and they're sleeping and stuff. But we can use goddamn language and shit, and it's like, oh, Trump is not being presidential very much. This is not very presidential, yada yada yada. But they just use these terms like whenever they feel like it. So then when their guy isn't being presidential, it'll be like, oh, look how cool and down to earth he's being. He's like shaking these people's hand, and he said swear words, and he said all this. Wow, he's so down to earth and cool. And then when Trump does something similar, or right, oh wow, not presidential. Wow, he has no class. Wow, this is terrible. How could you say that? He just walked in front of the Queen. Is he allowed to do that? Oh my God, the koi pond. He just threw, you know, look at this gluttonous fool throwing all this food in this water, right? It's like, you know, the media, I love it because they keep exposing themselves of how corrupt they are. Like I keep saying, that Jasmine fucking case in America, for like a whole week, the leftist progressive media just, white people are killing black people everywhere. Oh my God, the TYT. There's 3 videos they released of like how a white man killed a black girl, and oh my God, it's such a horrible thing. Sean King was like, I'm gonna pay somebody, you guys $100,000, whoever finds this guy. And then it comes out it's 2 black guys that killed her, and all of a sudden nobody's hearing about the story anymore. It goes completely silent, and you just know exactly, like, you know, hopefully that this scene has woken up a few people to be like, wow, like these people really are fucking biased. Like I really hope so, because it is plain to see, you know, some people would maybe in their head was trying to defend it and be like, no, they're not. They're these people are truth tellers and all this stuff, and you know, they're not biased. But you saw how fast people jumped on that. Whereas that type of murder happens all the time in black communities. Like little girls are shot in, or little boys, little kids are shot all the time in drive-by shootings. You know, it's not the first time that's happened, but all of a sudden this time there's protests, there's organization, all these people doing crazy shit. And oh wait, it's not a white guy. Okay, oh, that protest planned for tomorrow, guys. Oh, just stop the protest. We don't need to protest anymore. It's like, you know, how much more fucking evidence do you need? You know, how much more of this stuff do you need? You don't. If you don't see it, you're brain dead. You're an NPC. You're mentally deficient or something. You know. They beat an old Asian man to death. Well, speaking about beatings in Canada here, there was a second suspect in random East End attack surrenders to police. So this Muslim guy, Yusuf Hussein, one of the 18-year-olds charged in the crime, was to appear in court Tuesday on a number of charges. So they beat this 74-year-old man for no reason. These 2 Muslim guys, and like didn't steal any of his money and all this stuff. And just like, you know, you see a picture of this guy, he's pretty fucked up. And you know, this is the same thing that happened to that little old fucking white lady that got attacked randomly on that bike path a little while ago too. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, why are these people just getting attacked randomly? You know, he was also perplexed as to the motive, as nothing was stolen from him. Police are describing the attack as random. So, you know, there's a lot of these random attacks done by Muslim fucking perpetrators that are not getting the same fucking attention that you know if these 2 guys were white and this old man was black or Muslim, holy fuck, would the media be losing their shit. But this guy, you know, randomly attacked, I think it was in Ottawa or Montreal. I think it was in Montreal, the city. Uh, so while on vacation in Mexico, White's wife wrote, Morty is just very pleased the police were able to find them. Well, at breakfast. Yeah, so, you know, they just came behind him and attacked him. Yeah, pretty much as he was leaving the bank machine. But that's the thing, too, you know, as he walked back to his car after using the bank machine. So it's like they attacked him after using the bank machine, but they didn't steal any of his money. So would have said the two men continued to beat him as he lay on the edge of the parking lot. A good Samaritan soon came to his rescue. White said he briefly lost consciousness and remembers waking up in the ambulance. So if this good Samaritan didn't fucking intervene, then, you know, he probably would have been killed. And it's like, if these guys are just going to fucking mug a guy after they, like, are they trying to kill him first, then mug him? Like, was that their intention? So thank fucking God somebody came and stopped these fucking two animals, because that's what they are. They're fucking animals, you know? These kids are 18 years old. Like, what the fuck? Who is raising these fucking kids? You know what I mean? Like, who is raising these little fucking monsters to go and fucking do this? But, you know, oh, second suspect, random beating, you know, random fucking beating. And then there's another random beating. This time was like two bums. So Calgary stomping death caught on video as passerby turned blind eye. So Fahd Yassir Ali is on trial for second-degree murder in 2015, death to Mustaf Hussein. So I'm guessing they're like two bums, and the other bum just stomped the other bum to death, or this guy, or like, you know, but it's like, you know, we're bringing these people. They're probably illegals. I guarantee it, because one guy is like a Somalia guy. He's lived here by himself, has no family. They're probably illegals living here, and then they're killing each other on our fucking streets. It's like, go back to your own country and kill each other fucking there, right? Go back and have your own tribal warfare over there, or be barbaric and shit over there. But, you know, that's what we get. You know, so now it's going to be a huge investigation, all this crap. Costs more money. And this guy just, yeah, you know, randomly attacked his buddy bum for no reason, stomped him to death. But, you know, that's what you get with multiculturalism, right? Just more and more of this shit, right? It's never going to end. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Canada's economy isn't doing that great right now. Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates the same. But this is funny though. Like, feminists, a Trudeau feminist government should be doing, you know, they want universal daycare system. So that's what a bunch of feminists and liberals want Trudeau to do. And like, this is never going to happen. A fucking universal daycare system. Good luck. You know, that's going to be a lot of fucking money, and it shouldn't happen anyways. But yeah, you know, they're going to keep pressuring him to do this. And, you know, over time, they're going to cave to more and more of these people's demands until, you know, our budget is just, instead of a $30 trillion deficit, it's like a $50 trillion deficit. I haven't run into full burqa yet. A culture stuck in the 7th century. Yeah, government control of kids, right? Exactly. You know, but it's not, I wouldn't say actually it's per se that, because this is just massive socialism, because it's just going to be, what, like, how are you going to pay, and how, like, a lot of people, they don't deserve free fucking daycare. Like, if you're just a fucking person who's popping out kids for no reason, without, like, you know, you're just irresponsible, right? Why should the government pay for your fucking kids? You know, like, all we're going to be doing is incentivizing more people to have kids out of wedlock, and then we're going to be paying them for that. You know, it's like, these people who want all these things, they don't understand economy whatsoever, and they just think, oh, well, it'd be nice if everybody had everything paid for. Yeah, it'd be nice if everything was free, you know, and everybody got things for free. But that's not how the real world works. you know, and that's not, we don't have the money to do that, and it creates the wrong incentives in society to give things away for doing nothing, right? Yeah, right. It makes no sense that people on welfare can get like free daycare and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing what the government is doing to our people with welfare. You know, they are destroying us with these programs. And, you know, a lot of people will argue for them and be like, well, they have some purpose and this and that. But ultimately, they make us worse off as a nation. And they just make people dependent on the government for survival. And we're just paying people to have more kids out of wedlock. And then those kids are going to be grown up and they're going to be not contributing members of society. They're going to commit more crime, have more kids out of wedlock. It's going to be a cycle that continues on and on and on. You were taking too many stuff, too many contradictions. Which contradictions? Where are my contradictions? If we pay 100% tax, everything can be free. Yes, that's a good point, Mike. If we pay, you know, and if we raise the minimum wage to $100 an hour, nobody will be poor. You know, that's one of the things I saw on that Kim Campbell's thing of that Gail Oxdale. She's like, we should raise minimum wage to like $18, $19 an hour. That's the way it should actually be, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you can't even do that federally because, you know, there's a lot of different living rates in provinces. Like the cost of living is different. The cost of living costs different amounts in Manitoba and all these, like, people get by on less here than they do in other provinces. So, you know, to set the same for each would be stupid. Summer worm shutdown. But then till communism. But yeah, if anybody has a yeah, Idiocracy, the movie, is an accurate portrayal of the future. Yeah, I've recommended people to go watch that movie as well. If you have not, go watch it, because it definitely is a accurate representation of what Canada is becoming, and that is socialism essentially 101, right? You know, just keep giving money to idiots, and eventually you're going to get a country full of idiots. You know, like, I don't. It doesn't seem too hard to understand. You know, like, there is something, like, you know, look at people's kids. You know, their kids. If you see a parent, you can generally tell what their kid is going to be able to do. Like, not completely accurately or not always right, but, you know, so if we have all these irresponsible people being born, of course they're going to have even more irresponsible kids, and it's going to get worse. Yeah, people don't enjoy good satire, comedy anymore, so it's like it's more what do you call it? Like, I think we've dumbed down society so much that they can't even understand it anymore, or just our basic comedy is dumbed down for you know, a dumber audience. Where are you from? Winnipeg. I am from Winnipeg, Manitoba. If you want to become rich, then just change the country rules which support capitalism. If you want everyone become rich, then just change the country rules which support capitalism. I don't know what you mean by that. You're saying you don't change the rules of the country that support capitalism? What do you mean? You want socialism instead? I don't understand. Or are you just being sarcastic? Trump is boring. Trump isn't boring. What are you talking about? Trump is probably the funniest fucking president to have ever existed on this planet. Like, that, in my opinion. But it would be stuck down a liberal judge. Yeah. The freebies are those voters will keep voting for bigger and bigger. Yeah. Next, our meat will be taxed. Yeah. it probably will be taxed very soon. You know, they're going to be like, oh, this is harmful. It creates global warming, and this is hurting brown people in Africa, and we need to tax your meat way more because, yeah. Is meat taxed? Is it taxed? Is it? I thought produce wasn't taxed. Well, I guess just produce. Well, meat isn't produce, but, you know, so I guess, I don't know. Makes sense. They make you pay for hunting license. There's one. Oh, that's true. Well, that's fucking bullshit. I don't even remember. But yeah. So, and that's bullshit, right? And that's more, not everything is taxed. Produce isn't taxed. Right. You know, and this is what Trudeau is doing. He's like, with the climate and the Paris Accord, or I mean the carbon tax, he is putting like restrictions on some companies and then giving other companies subsidies and money and stuff. So it's like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. It's like, you know, you keep manipulating the goddamn market. Just stay the fuck out of it. Just stay the fuck out of it. And now they're gonna be like, well, we want you to eat less meat, so we're gonna tax meat and we're gonna give subsidies to all these other consumers. So now buy all these products instead. It's like, fuck off, okay? Fuck off. Let us decide what the fuck we want to eat, how the fuck we want to eat it. And this is the problem with a healthcare worldwide, right? Or I mean, national run healthcare, because when you have a national healthcare, this is what justifies the government to be like, well, now we need to, charge $30 a pack for cigarettes because it causes heart disease, and we don't want to pay for your healthcare down the road. So to save us money, we're going to create a tax to put on this and this. Now in Canada, you got to pay like I don't know how much. It's like $20 for like a little bit of booze here, whereas you go to America, you can get way more for $20. But here, because we got a government-run healthcare, they're like, well, you know, if you drink too much, then you're going to get sick. Then it's going to cost the Canadian taxpayer more money. So we have a justification to raise taxes on this, and this product on you because it's bad for your health. Until they find out, oh, wait, coffee is good for your health. Oh, wait, bacon and cholesterol and all these things are good for your health now. There's always one fucking study that comes out and another one later to disprove it, and another one, oh, this is healthy for you now. This is healthy for you now. And, you know, it's all political, you know, especially like the government. There's tons of money being thrown at the Canadian government, at governments to release a food pyramid, because that affects sales of companies. Although a lot of people, it's not like they're looking at the government food pyramid. In the article is reading, they're like, most people get their diet information from family, friends, and like, I don't know, the internet or something. So that's reassuring to know that most people don't take the government's shit seriously, but they're just, you know, getting a bunch of money to do this, you know, hiring a bunch of staff to do a bunch of research. I forget. I think I was reading about this. It cost it took 23,000 staff members to come up with the new nutritional guide of Canada. And it was over 3 years of people interviewing all these different people. It's just a jobs program. That's what it is. It's just a jobs program. Do we really need 3 years and 28,000 staff and I don't know how much money? It's probably millions and millions and millions of dollars to figure out, you know, just don't tell us what the fuck to do. Okay. Don't tell me what the fuck to eat. I'll eat wherever the fuck I want to eat. I don't trust the government to tell me anything. I don't trust you on about anything. Anytime we hear the government say something, I'm kind of like, the opposite must be true. I'm like, that's most of the way I think now. Is like, I hear the government say something, and I'm like, or the media, the mainstream media, I hear them say something, and I'm like, what they're saying is probably wrong, and the opposite is probably true. You know, I need to look up. I don't, even if it sounds good and all this stuff, it sounds legit. It's like, you know, I'm just skeptical of practically everything now, just because, you know, just look at how the media acts, look how they react. They're fake news. They are the enemy of the people. So why would I trust them? Why would I trust governments that have been like sending us off to wars to die for no reason for fucking since the beginning of time, since the beginning of our governments, stealing from us, taking advantage of us. You know, why would I trust anything that they say? I don't trust anything that they say. Oh, immigration is good. It's good for our GDP. It's good for Canada. Oh, well, we need it. We need it. Blah blah blah. Oh wait, you're being replaced now. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, oopsie. Sorry, guys. You know, I saw a video post in Canada, Toronto here. Yeah. There was a church, and a cross was being removed by a bunch of Muslims, and then they put a fucking Muslim thing down the side because it was now a mosque. And it's like, what the fuck? You know, they sold that church to the Muslims or something because I guess not enough people are going to church anymore. But it's like, just seeing that, you're like, like I remember I was reading the comments in the Twitter thing. Even one Muslim guy's like, this isn't really good. We shouldn't be buying Christian churches and replacing them and making them into mosques because this other people will see this and it will make them angry against Muslims. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true. I'm like, you shouldn't fucking do that. You should not buy goddamn Christian churches, take off their fucking crosses and make them into mosques. Like, you know, people need to wake the fuck up. Did I mention I hate Islam? Wondered. No, you didn't mention that. Why are against immigration and Muslims? Why am I against immigration and Muslims? Because I want to exist. That's why. Because I want to exist. And if immigration continues with the way it's going, I will cease to exist, or my people, white people, Western people, will cease to exist. We will be replaced. Canadians are not having enough kids. We're at 1.3 replacement rate. We need to be above 2. At least should be 3, and we're not. So what that means is bringing in immigration at the rate, even if you're all great and lovely, kind-hearted, warm, loving people, I don't care. I don't care whatsoever. I don't want to be replaced. So instead of being replaced, we need to stop immigration. I'm not against immigrants. I'm not against brown people. I'm not against Asian people. I'm not against whatever people. And yeah, Islam. No, I don't want to live in a Sharia-run fucking country because, like I said, we are being replaced. And if we keep this up, we keep bringing in people from Muslim countries, we'll be replaced by them. And I definitely don't want to live in a country that they have created or they are running, because all you need to do is look at the countries right now that they are running. They're not very free now, are they? There's not a lot of other religions getting a lot of say now, is there? No, there isn't. There's not a lot of multiculturalism and religion for all in all these other countries, is there? No, there isn't. So yeah, that's why I'm against immigration as a whole, because, you know, I don't want to be fucking replaced. Canadians deserve to stay Canadians, right? That's why, you know, that's all the reason we really need. That's called conquest. Justin is a devout Muslim. Yeah, we're being replaced. That's what's going on right now. We're being replaced, and they've been trying to do this for a long time. And all you need to know is that, like, whenever they ever talk about the future and paying for these pensions and all this stuff, they never, ever, ever, ever talk about trying to fix the family structure, getting families back together, making sure they're having more kids. All they're like, oh, we need immigration. We're going to be relying on immigration. We need to bring in more people. We have a work shortage. We need this. We need this. It's like immigrants. That's their only solution. Whereas they've known about this problem for decades now, decades and decades. You can find the reports from the early 90s from the UN of them talking about population replacement in Canada and Western countries because of low birth rates. So they've been studying this shit since the 80s, the 90s, and they haven't made a big stink about it. They haven't tried reversing these trends. They're just like, we'll just focus on immigration, right? So they want us replaced. Did anyone ask the natives how they feel about this? About what? Do Canada land for Western white people? I'll tell you that. Your grandfather just immigrate to Canada, same like Arab or Muslim. So did Arab and Muslims and Africans create the cities and the roads and the infrastructure and the government and produce all the wealth that you're coming to now get? No. My ancestors came to Canada with nothing, okay? Literally nothing. And there was, guess what? There was nothing in the land. They tilled the land. They lived in an overturned cart, in an overturned wagon for the first year until they built their own cabin, okay? And then they made the land profitable, livable, started building. Then my great-great-great-great-grandfather built a fucking town and was the founder of that town and shit. You know, helped trade, was a trading post. What was right near the Fort Garry trading post. You know, like my ancestors are nowhere near like the people coming to Canada right now. You can't compare my ancestors with you with your second generation shit or your first generation. That's insane. That's a fucking you're crazy. It's like, okay, there was nothing here. Okay, there was nothing here with the natives. Nothing. Okay, so we built everything, and that's not to say that it's good that we came and lived here and then a bunch of Aboriginal people died, but like it fucking happened, and we built everything here right now, and now people are coming in. You know, there was not a welfare state when my ancestors came to Canada. There was not a big government taking care of people. They had to go and fucking hunt and trap. My other great fucking grandfather on my mom's side was a fucking famous trapper for the fucking Hudson Bay and all these other fucking companies. And you know the life of a trapper. You know the things they had to go through and shit. It wasn't an easy fucking life. Did a lot of traveling. They nothing like the people coming here now and just coming with their hands open, getting subsidies and getting money from the government in the state. You can't compare my ancestors to that, or the people that came and founded this fucking nation. But is Trudeau converted to Islam, or is that just a rumor? It's probably just a rumor, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But you know, I don't think Trudeau is a Islamist. He's just a globalist. He's just, you know, he's going to sell us out. Doesn't care to who or to what. Whoever gives him votes and money, he's going to pander to, right? And Coulter is right. There should be a 50-year moratorium on all forms of immigration, legal or otherwise. Canada and U.S. need to break to assimilate the ones here and study effects. Yeah, exactly. There needs to be a break on immigration immediately, you know, because it's not working. No, it's just not working whatsoever. It's getting worse and worse. Natives were welcome to join us. Water Penny, I saw a video he put out. He took the Shahada. Where's that person with that really bad English there that they're writing? Muslims did not create a Western culture. They created a political death cult. Yes, exactly, right. You know, our ancestors, you know, nobody's trying to, the only country people are trying to live in is maybe like Saudi Arabia, because they have like tons of fucking money and it's really fucking nice there in some places. But You're not going to become a citizen in these countries. In Saudi Arabia, you'll always be a second-class citizen. It's crazy. This whole narrative that all these people are just like our ancestors is very destructive, and it's bullshit. It's not true. It's a revisionist history, because in no way did the people who came here and started the country up from nothing, from scratch, are like the refugees coming across the fucking border illegally, or like the other people getting in here and stuff. No, okay. I'm not saying your life was easy or whatever, but no, it's nothing at all the same. And this is just justification for people to replace us. That's what it is. Oh, well, you're this and you're an immigrant too. So that means open the border wide for everybody. And we're all immigrants. We don't need borders because we're all immigrants. Blah, blah, blah. That's what it means. That's what they're trying to say. Then you shouldn't have a border because immigrants. You're an immigrant too. Blah, blah, blah. This is the native land. You stole the natives' land. It's like, no, there wasn't a fucking consensus above the natives. They're all like, okay, we own this land together, and together we own this land. It's like, no, that never happened. They were warring amongst each other and shit. And this was just a bunch of unclaimed land. And I don't know, we came and we fucking claimed it. Okay, that's what happened. And there was nothing here. Finders keepers, essentially, and I'm not advocating doing that now to people, but like, this is the course of history. This is what we've done all through history. And the only time we have a problem with it is when white people do it, and we do it a lot less horribly than other groups have done it. So, just be thankful that it wasn't the Muslims who fucking came and landed here first. I guess you crazy and you mean. Where are you from, man? Because when was problems and wars in Europe, your old generation just immigrate to Canada. Now you want to stop other people come to Canada and live safely there. Do you think Canada was a safe country with a bunch of roaming packs of Aboriginals killing people, or do you know how safe it was in Europe? And my ancestors didn't come when there was European wars going on. There's a lot more infrastructure, money, and wealth. The people who came to North America were taking a chance, a risk. They were going across the fucking ocean on a little rickety boat, risking their lives, and then entering a continent that hasn't been explored whatsoever by modern people or colonized, whatever. That's a huge fucking risk. Nothing like the people who are coming into Canada, where as soon as they come in, they're like, they got somebody's like, hey, don't worry, I work for the government of Canada, and we're gonna put you in a hotel, and here's money. Oh, by the way, you get a free year pass to go to all of the national parks. You get to go to all the museums in Canada. That's what you get when you become immigrant in Canada first year. You get to go to all of our museums, national parks, all of this shit. Oh yeah, those people are exactly like the people that came here, and like I said, my ancestors, and lived in an overturned fucking wagon in the fucking -40. Like they lived in the fucking valley in Manitoba, the Qu'Appelle Valley. It gets fucking cold there. And you're going to tell me it's the same shit? Fuck you, right? There's ignorant immigrants that are taught by Marxist fucking retards that don't know what they're talking about. And, it's retards like this that make me like racist and shit, right? It's people like that make me like bigoted and whatnot, right? Because I just see that bullshit, and you're just like, get the fuck out of my country. Honestly, get the fuck out of my goddamn country, because you have way, way, way too much like ownership of it already. You feel entitled to a lot of fucking things that you're not fucking entitled to, that you didn't work for, that you did nothing absolutely for. You know, in Western countries, we have this thing called inheritance, okay? And this means that the parents can leave behind what they worked for to their children. Doesn't mean people, they don't work hard for other people's kids. They don't break their backs. They don't risk their lives. They don't do all these things. Go to another country. Sorry, my cat. Go to all these different countries and risk their lives for you, for your kids, for other people. They do it for their own kids. And, you know, that's how you should fucking do it. And Canada was built for Canadians, not for immigrants, not for third world people in different countries, not for Pakistanis, not for Afghanis, not for Chinese, not for Africans, not for any of these people, not even a bunch of these fucking Europeans or anything like that. Canada was made for the fucking, you know, the kids of the people that were living here during its fucking foundation and construction and so forth and so on. It was made for these people. It was left for these people, but our governments have sold us out, have opened our borders wide to be, you know, come in and exploited and taken advantage of and pillaged by people from other fucking groups. Essentially, that is what is happening, right? And of course, people from other groups do not have loyalty to the average Canadian. You know, you got fucking retards like, I don't know, this guy coming in here, and you know, they feel entitled to things. They want a lot. They feel like, oh, they're just the same as you, and they're escaping poverty and war. Well, you know what? A lot of my ancestors also stayed there. A lot of other people, European ancestors, American ancestors, stayed and fought in their countries. My French ancestors, you know what they did in their fucking countries? They beheaded the fucking leadership and they fucking killed them. So guess what? Rise up and fucking take ownership of your goddamn countries, because I'm sick and fucking tired. Oh, but we're escaping poverty and so blah, blah, blah. You got the numbers. You have the numbers. Fucking group up and take control, okay? We're not your fucking savior, okay? Go back, you know, fight for your country. All these Syrian men and all these men leaving from these from these Middle Eastern countries to go live in Sweden and Germany, and they're leaving their women and children behind. Like, what kind of honor? You have no honor. You're cowards. You're fucking cowards. It's despicable. It makes me sick, honestly, that you have such cowardice fucking men leaving their women and children to potentially be raped by fucking ISIS fighters or bombed, etc. Oh, but take us in. Fuck you. That's what I have to say, because it's like, you know what? At some point, we have to close the fucking doors and say enough is enough. The shit in here is for us, and you guys fucked up your end. You messed it up, and there's nothing that we can do about it. It's not my problem. It's not our problem. You know, I'm not going to go and advocate war and fighting and killing people unjustifiably in your country, but doesn't mean I have to bend over backwards and let you come into my country and do all this shit and act like you're a fucking you've just been here forever and you have every single fucking right as everybody else. And it's like, no, that's unacceptable. And the only countries this happens in is our countries, is Western countries, is white countries, okay? And people will say, oh, well, Canada and America. Yes, but guess what? This is happening in Western countries too. It's happening in France, where, you know, the same rhetoric. Oh, well, actually, France is home to many diverse immigrants, and we're always been this way. And UK, same fucking rhetoric. Well, actually, UK has always been very diverse and very we've always been open to immigrate. All of the same rhetoric. So there's no place that is supposed to be, you know, for Europeans, for white people and stuff. But all of our homes is everybody else's homes, apparently. And, oh, but you have no heart. And oh, I was suffering from running from slavery and this and that. It's like those fucking guys being captured for slavery in Libya. A lot of them were leaving Nigeria or whatever their countries to bypass Libya, to enter into Europe, and to live off of fucking the government. So, hey, that's the fucking shit that you have to deal with now. I don't care if you're a fucking slave in Libya. I don't give two fucking shits. Maybe you should have stayed in your country and made it better. And maybe you shouldn't have crossed the border illegally to come into another country to abuse it illegally, right? And to, they'd be shipped. And you know what, Canada, I just heard that the Trudeau he's accepted some asylum seekers from the fucking American border, like the Hondurans and the Mexicans. He wants to let some of these people in. And I'm like, are you crazy? But, I don't know. We have really dumb people. Canada look at this. Look at this fucking guy, Firestone. Canada not for you. You must be a troll. You're trolling me now, man. You're trolling me. I got it. Yeah, you're definitely trolling me. Canada not for you because your English is so bad. I think, yeah, you're definitely. Canada for all human. How give you leadership to talk about all Canadian? Yeah, you must be a troll. I know I have a right. Yeah, I speak for all Canadians, and I say that you are nothing like our Canadian ancestors. Greetings, Leonard. How's it going? But yeah, I don't know. That one guy's a fucking retard. I don't know how he ended up in my chat. Syrian woman started at 16 to make more Muslim and give birth to 4-7 kids. It's a road to destruction, a welfare, and path to war. Yeah, it's crazy. I always hear of these Muslim families, and there's like you hear their kids, like 3 of their kids are retarded, and 2 or 3 of them are like 6 kids, and 3 of them are handicapped, and 2 of them are retarded, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why are we bringing in these people that are just gonna like? No, if you got 5-6 kids, no, you can't come in. You just can't come into Canada. You just can't do it. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to go to the country nearest to yours that is safe. Go to I don't know, Turkey or something. Go to Turkey. Go to whatever, because we don't need these drains on society, because that's what they'll be. It's sad. It's harsh to say, but these people are just going to be drains. They're going to take money. They're going to cost us money, and we have no. It's not up to us to take care of these people. Not us at all. I'd rather take care of actual Canadians first. Like, let me keep more of my money, then I can use that money to donate to help more homeless people in Canada, as opposed to, you giving it to all these people all over the world that I don't even like a lot of the time. Let Israel bomb them. Right. Yeah, Israel is going to go after Syria, that's for sure. Yeah, in Denmark, they cost 36 billion every year, right? Yeah, and Canada, they cost around that much too. I forget how much it is, but the price is insane. It's only going to be going up, and all of our governments are doing is, and like, even the Conservatives in Canada, they're like, well, how are we going to pay for this? We need to pay for this. We need more government money from the federal government. It's like, no, we need to stop this. This is an invasion. Oh, it's not a crisis. It's not a crisis on the border. Oh, is he back? You have no thing to say. Just shitting your sickness through all other people. Just a virus. Man, you're a troll. You're a fucking troll. Like that is 100%, because you don't spell well enough to not be a fucking troll. Anyone hear about the homeless lady that died trying to get into that stuff? Oh yeah, I heard about that. There's apparently been multiple cases where homeless people have died trying to get into trash bins, but You know, I was thinking about that, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, it's Darwinism. And then I was like, well, you know, in Canada, it's really fucking cold. And, you know, it's pretty horrible that, you know, if maybe our shelters weren't full of fucking refugees, that person wouldn't have tried to grab clothes from a fucking box or something. But now they're all being removed. And it is kind of funny at first. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, to be so cold and desperate to like jump into that for fucking some clothes and shit, you know, and like it gets cold here, man. Like, fuck. Like, I was reading this one story of this homeless, how these people with dogs and stuff are being turned away from homeless shelters. And this one guy, he had a dog, and his dog froze to death in his arms. And it's like, you know what? That's what really angers me when I see people cross into the border and illegally, and when people abusing our system, because I just know of how hard the winters are in Canada. And I know of people that die, that freeze to death outside. And, you know, and it's not going to be any easier with more people, you know, and then these people with dogs and animals are being turned away. And these people are the ones that are the less violent, the least violent, the least likely to offend and hurt anybody, because they don't want to go to prison, because then they'll lose custody of their pet or ownership of their pet. So, you know, it's horrible what the fuck is going on. And it's like, I feel terrible for a lot of homeless people that are living in cold fucking climates. Like, you know, at least if you're living in some warm place, you know, it's warm all year round. Not to say that it's good, but here, fuck, man, like, you know, you get stuck out in the elements, you're dead, man. You're fucking dead. Japan. Yeah, I was actually watching something about the homeless people in Japan the other day too. Where did I see that? And it was like, I've been watching a lot of tiny home things lately, and people living in like vans, and like people living in they're modifying like buses and all. It's crazy, some of these people. But then I remember seeing something about China and how, yeah, you see like there's this like tent, it's got like solar panels on the fucking tent or something. You know, there's some YouTube videos about, oh, why are the homeless in Japan so different or something. But yeah, I've been looking at a lot of that stuff, and that seems, you know, it makes me like, it gives me hope, right? When I see a lot of stuff on YouTube, because, you know, a lot of these people doing it are younger people, and younger generation. And we're just trying to find ways to live in society that, like, you know, where it's increasingly harder to like own a home, to do anything. So people are having to figure out really inventive, like, you know, really crazy ways to live. And it's really cool because, you know, you find out all these like ways that maybe you could store things way more efficiently. And, you know, I think that, you know, the things that people figure out here could later be applied on a larger scale. Like, you know, I've seen like these people, they have like this bus, and they have this bed that goes up, and then, you know, press a button, it comes down, and it just saves a lot of space and saves a lot of, you know, and people, they're living off of a lot less, you know, they like, you know, like generally, yeah, I don't need that much to live either. I don't need as much space as people really think. You know, you don't need like 6-7 rooms in your house or anything, especially a lot of people that are using like one room or whatnot. Like I use tube screwed up pic. AJ, is it still buffering? Let me see. Is it buffering still? I'm gonna write super buffering alert. Damn it. Well, I was about to what do you call it, end this anyways. It's been about 2 hours. Oh, is it back on? It's back on. I don't know what the fuck happened. That's fucked up. I didn't see any problems on my side, but oh fuck, I don't know what's going on. Son of a bitch. Okay, well, I'm gonna put this in the chat because I think I'm about good, guys. But all good now? Okay, all good. I got you back. Oh, okay, good, good. Damn, fucking buffering. I lost like 15 people. But yeah, but I was about to. Well, unless there's anything else anybody wants to bring up. Does anybody got a question or oh yeah, this idiot guy talk? If you're gonna call me an idiot, make sure you spell correctly. You know, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy who's like a Nazi, grammar Nazi person. But like, honestly, man, if you call me stupid and other shit like that, at least spell somewhat fucking correctly, okay? But this idiot guy talked like he owned Canada. Yes, it's buffering because of immigrants using Canada internet. that was a good one. That's pretty funny, honestly. I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh at that one. Yeah, it's all the fucking immigrants using my fucking speed. I guarantee it. You know, it's probably next. There's probably out my door. There's probably a Syrian couple parked in a livable van, hooking up to my Wi-Fi connection and stealing my connection. That's what I think is going on right now. I keep getting a spinning wheel. You keep getting English 8675309 Vicky. That name. I don't know. Are you still getting a buffering wheel? Beat it, troll boy. Here, I'm gonna do something here. I don't really manipulate. I don't have to. English not my native language, and I challenge you to learn my language. Why would I learn a useless language? Why would I learn a useless language? Makes no sense. You know, like, is your country going to, take ownership? Are we going to start using your language as a trading language in the future? Because if not, shut the fuck up. And we don't need to hear your fucking language because it's useless when it comes to trading. I'm sorry to say, but the future is headed for less and less languages, not more and more and more. It's going to be less and less. You know, so sorry to say there, buddy. Sorry, buddy. Oh, I deleted it. Did I delete that? Message deleted. You've been deleted. You've been deleted. Oh, thank you, Voltron, man. Appreciate the donation, man. I really appreciate it. If you have a donation or I mean a comment, let me know. Yeah, I know this troll made it fun. I don't even care about. I deleted it just for fun, but I'm not gonna get rid of people who, like, you know, harass me. I think it's funny, honestly. And you know, I gotta make somebody into a moderator or something. But I don't know. I don't really want to make people into moderators necessarily, right? Because I don't know. It might be like kind of favoritism and stuff. And then, you know, I'm pretty fine with anything either. I don't really care what people say in my chat. I don't care if it's racist or whatever. You know, I really don't give a shit. And you know, as long as you're not trying to make me look bad or something, I don't know. Not make me look bad in the chat, but I mean, like, you know what I mean. But generally, no, I don't care whatever people say. Yeah, free speech all the way. Will Trump get his wall? Fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I'm always pessimistic. Like, I'm not pessimistic, but I always just assume it's not going to work out. That's the way I've always been. I've always just assumed things are not going to work out. Because then when they do work out, I'm pleasantly surprised. And then I'm like, oh, nice. You know, I always assume it's just going to fail, right? And it's not going to work. But you know, and that way, when it doesn't work, then I'm like, well, I didn't expect it to work anyway. And then when it does, I'm like, yay! Hey, slavey, East Coast Canadian. Canada become bilingual, trilingual eventually, though, when the Muslims replace us, fucking English and Arabic. Ugh, our kids, grandkids are gonna see a very different world. Well, by the time Canada, we won't become trilingual or anything like that, because even if we do get overtaken by a bunch of like immigrants and stuff, by that time Canada will separate and there will be no more Canada left. So then there'll be like, I don't know, Alberta-stan with English as its fucking main language. Then there'll be Quebecistan or Quebec, whatever land. And there'll be French, probably their national, maybe not be dual as well, because a lot of English people. And then, you know, Ontario will be Arabic, and it'll be Ontario country, the country of Ontario. But yeah, it'll balkanize. By the time it reaches that point, we'll fucking balkanize. You know, I don't even think. Yeah, you know, by that time we'll just be like so fucking separate by that. But you know, maybe we can reverse course before that happens. I guess you are useless because those know my language are so smart and gaining a lot of money. Check out those known Arabic in UAE. Oh, you mean like all those Arabs using slave labor and stealing money from Western countries? And oh yeah, all of your wealth is off of oil. So, you know, guess what? Once people stop using oil as much, you're going to go back to being desert people going around in the desert looking for water, and you're going to be needing Canadian support. So I would recommend being nice to me right now, because one day your people are going to be in desperate need of resources, and Canada, being a very nice country, may give you some. But you know, if you still keep treating us like this, and if you think, you know, you have ownership of Canada or you're entitled to it because some immigration official lets you in, you know, you have another fucking thing coming, right? Yeah, and you know, we're not going to comply to people like that. Yeah, you will be Canada. Yeah, you will be no Canada left. I don't know, man. Whatever. You're funny though, honestly. The more you say, the better. It's kind of funny. Be self-aware. Number one energy exporter, take Middle East people. Yeah, exactly. America is the number one energy exporter right now. And that didn't take very long. It took 2 years. You know, Obama was trying to destroy that industry, and then Trump comes right back and reinvigorates it. You know, the only reason Saudi Arabian, UAE countries, China have any wealth is because we give it to them, because we allow them to have it, because we sell out our own people. But if our governments didn't sell out our own people, countries like Saudi Arabia and shit, like, you know, no, they wouldn't have nearly as much money. Like, why are we giving them money right now? We have enough energy to produce ourselves, yet we're giving Saudi Arabia money. You know, it's stupid, but it's because our politicians are selling us out and are, you know, I don't know, in cahoots with this Firestone, people like this guy, who are just like, I don't know, pieces of shit, essentially. I think you people coming to our countries to gain money for doing jobs, i.e. lecturing doctors. Oh, but can those people become citizens? And do they have all the rights that you have? No, they don't. And, you know, these people, your country, you know, the thing is, it's like your country really needs white people, honestly. You need white people. You need us. But we don't need you, right? We don't need you. You need us. So, you know, until white people figure that out, they're going to be at a disadvantage. But once we realize that the world, these people, they need us. They need our wealth. They need our cooperation to have the things that they do have. You know, generally they wouldn't have it themselves. You know, they wouldn't have gotten it. You know, a lot of what is Saudi Arabia and these Arab countries inventing? They're inventing nothing. They're coming up with absolutely nothing. They're doing nothing. And they will probably always do nothing. And that is just the way it is. And they're going to be relying on us in the future when we switch off of gasoline and all these other types of energy, because it's not going to be the Saudi Arabia and Qatar that are making the new upgraded fucking energy you know, type of technology. It's not going to be coming from there. You know, hell no, obviously not. They breed with cousins constantly, and they're all inbred. There's no way that that's ever going to happen in that part of the world. So, you know, dream on, right? Nobody needs you. You are coming here for our money and our oil. No, man, we give you money for your oil. And, you know, Israel is profiting off of Iraq's oil and stuff, but I'm not getting that oil. You think I'm getting it? But see, retards like this, you're white, so that means that you work with every Western country in all the world, and everything bad happened in my country is because of white people, and you're white. It's like, I'm Canadian, man. How many countries do we go and loot? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, but you're white, you're Western country, all the same. You know, just fucking retards, man. Complete idiots. There is millions of you Asians and Indians trying to get jobs. Ooh. No, there isn't. There isn't. There really isn't. There's no fear of Asians. Is there a fear of Asians and Indians becoming a minority in their own countries because of white people? No. But there's a fear of white people becoming a minority in their own country, but you justify it because you're a racist and you're like, you hate white people, or you believe that, like, well, you guys stole our land and you steal oil from us, so your country doesn't belong to you because immigrants. Canada is a country of immigrants. People, they just justify doing bad things for whatever reason, you know. And trust me, coming to somebody else's country and eventually overpopulating it with your people and replacing those people is a bad thing, and you should feel bad about it, right? You should feel bad about it if you know what's going on. Maybe if you're unaware or whatever, you know, ignorance to some extent, but if you're really aware of it, you're aware of white people becoming a minority in their own countries, and you're actively going there and helping it, then I don't know, you should feel partly to blame and for what you're doing, right? And it's not good. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to other countries. That I want people to have to stay. I want China to stay China, right? But nobody's like that for us. It's, well, you guys are racist and colonizing, and you guys are colonizers, and you colonize the world, and blah 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 blah. You are not even white. I'm whiter than you, pimp. I highly doubt you're whiter than me. But sure you are. I don't even care. I don't know. You could do a 23andMe test. I don't know. Maybe I'm a half black. I don't fucking know. But all I know, maybe I'm half black. I'm half native. Maybe I am. But even if I was, Western countries belong to Western people. Okay. So what? You know, maybe I'm a 3/4 black or something. It still doesn't change my opinion. None whatsoever, because I'm not a racist, right? I'm not a racist. My race doesn't influence the way that I think. So the reason I want Canada to remain a Western country is because I know that everybody else are racist. See, it's like, I don't want to have to become tribalistic or have to care more about white people. I don't want to have to do that, but I have to, because I see the rest of the world and I see how racist everybody else is and how tribalistic they are. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, it's like, I have to fucking defend my own people, my own group of people, because they're constantly being attacked. And all of these other groups of people only ever see race. That's all they ever see. That's all they ever think about. And they're only ever thinking about how white people are oppressing them and shit. It's all that's on their mind, like 24/7. It's crazy. Guess what? White people don't think about you. Okay. White people, we don't think about black people. We don't think about Asians. We don't think about natives. We don't care about you. Okay. We're not trying to oppress you. We don't give a shit. Just do your shit and stay out of our way, stay out of our lives, and we'll stay out of your life. Simple as that, right? That's how most people are, right? But we don't care. We're not trying to take over your lands. Most white people, they're trying to live their fucking life. Like, we see right through you. Who cares about skin color? There are plenty of immigrants who have lived in Canada, contributing to society for years, and they can see what's going on and disagree with it. Right. You know, and the ones that can, good. And they should be our fucking allies. 100 years ago, 20% white. Now we under 7%. Right. You know, we are the fucking minority worldwide, but nobody cares because you're racist bigots and you have residential schools, Holocaust, white people, slavery, who cares? Karma. This is karma. You know, that's how they see it. That's how they see it. You know, people, there's so much propaganda, so much anti-white hatred that people, they laugh when they find out that we are going to become a minority in the future. Like, yay, yay, and they clap and they clap, and it's like, what the fuck? You know, the first time I saw that, but in the Young Turks, I think it was 2015, Cenk Uygur was like, and white people are going to become a minority in 2040, and everybody's like, yeah. And honestly, seeing that, that's what fucking switched the fucking switch for me. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are these people so fucking happy about white people becoming minority? Like, it had a lot of implications, just them being so happy about it. I was like, it means so much, that gesture. Because why would you be so happy? Clearly these people think they're oppressed and that the world is going to be a fucking utopia once we're gone, because you see the happiness in the you know, the ecstatic nature. Finally, we're going to be free of these racist fuckers and we can all just be fucking living in a great utopian world. It's like, that's the impression I got from seeing that. And I was like, you know, this is fucked up. And I'm like, from that point on, I was like, you know, even before that, you see a lot of stuff, but seeing the reaction of people just made me think like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of anti-white fucking shit. And a lot of these people are pretty convinced that, you know, getting rid of us or having less of us is a really good thing. And is going to be a good thing for people because there's going to be less racism around, because only white people can be racist, apparently. Power plus prejudice, you know, fucking stupid nonsense. Yeah, I hate the Young Turks so fucking much. We have to keep organized, push. We're doing great at the moment. We will never surrender. Remember, kill ratio 1 to 100. They won't like it so much when they're stuck with nobody but each other, living in the lefty land. Nobody but, yeah, exactly, right? I am a Caucasian. I will never speak about white or black, red people. You're not supposed to call natives red people, you fucking racist. Jesus Christ. They will still blame you. Actually, white population in the U.S. is growing all over, and Canadian hinterland growing whites too. War in cities, maybe. Yeah. But which populations of white people are growing? Is it the populations of white people we want to be growing? I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean? My brother has fucking a bunch of illegitimate kids, and he's white, but he's not a fucking really good dad, right? But yeah, you know, your rural areas, that's good. You know, it just depends on, you know, we want the right people fucking breeding, to be honest, right? But, you know, we don't want a bunch of, you know, stupid whites breeding, because that won't be good for us either, right? Or anybody. We don't want stupid anybody breeding, right? We don't want stupid black people, white people, Asian people, because the more stupid people we have on the planet, it's just going to be harder for everybody, you know? Like, that's it. Like, I want all black people to be as good and as smart and as strong as possible. I want all white people to be as good and as smart and as strong as possible, you know? Like, I'm 26 and I have 5 kids. I'm doing my part. Yeah, well, I hope you're taking care of those 5 kids. That's the thing, though. How can your brother be stupid? Because he's not a good fucking father. Because, you know, he has sex with a woman, has a kid. She has fucking kids from 5 different dads, right? Now she's a fucking whore, crack whore. He's a retard. Now I love my fucking niece, and I want to take care of her. And now she's just another person in my life that I have to take care of because I love her and stuff. And it's like, no, you don't want certain people having kids because they're not going to be there for their kids. And I don't even talk to my brother anymore because of that. Like, because of how, you know, he was in and out of prison barely. Like, no. You got to be there for your kids. And if you're not there for your kids, I don't like you. You know, I don't want to interact with you. And that doesn't mean you can't be forgiven. You can't, you know, come back later and be like, you know, I made a lot of mistakes. And, you know, then that's a different story. But, like, you know, a lot of people don't admit what they did was wrong, and they don't ask for forgiveness. And, you know, what's important, what I think creates civilization, society, is a strong family structure, and a mother and a father, and, you know, staying together. That is what I think creates societies and stronger societies. And the breakdown of that, just people having kids with whomever and then not really having intention of being together and being a good role models for those kids, you know, it just creates so many problems in society right now that it just really bothers me. And, you know, I don't like seeing, you know, just people do that shit, right? It's like, man, stay with your fucking kids, raise your fucking kids, man. Like, Jesus Christ. It's just really frustrating. But you know what, guys, I've been on for almost 3 hours. And I think I'm probably about done here. But thank you all for joining me. Thank you for all the donations. I really appreciate that. Voltron, I thank you for that. Thank you, Rainy Steps. Who else donated to me there? I'm trying to remember. Let me see here. Voltron, you donated. I can't remember, but for everybody who gave, thank you very much. And everybody who joined and came and talked and participated, thank you. And like the video if you liked it, share, subscribe, all that other nonsense. And, you know, guys, have a great day. Take it easy. Thank you again for joining me. Take it easy. You didn't donate. What's wrong with you, man?